Hello! Welcome to the smartest vlog you'll ever meet. Smartest vlog in the world. 2.5 Brains is the weekly vlog, weekly Survivor recap for episode 8 of season 38. We're here now. Be sure to subscribe right below. Email pavementproductions@gmail.com. Like our page, Facebook, Pavement Productions on Facebook. And I'm your host, Pat Gabamonte. Tweet me at YoGrabAGaba. And definitely subscribe and be sure to check back for more updates throughout the week and for the weeks to come. Obviously, this is our weekly Survivor recap for the most recent episode. Very fun, very exciting episode. We're going to have a guest coming up at some point soon. We tried to have a guest this week, just schedule didn't work out that way. But we're going to at least have one or two for the next season and then look to have even more as the time goes on. But as always, the steady co-host is always here with me every week. Let's go ahead and bring her in, the wonderful and lovely Jessica Trosek. Come on in.
What about lovely?
I said welcome and lovely. Did I say lovely?
Yeah, you said the wonderful and lovely.
Yes.
I don't really know about that.
It's true, you are. So let's go ahead and talk about this week's episode. As always, we'll talk about what happened. It was a crazy episode. I mean, we talked about before the vote, we really had no idea who's going where, and it could have really been anybody, and it ended up being my winner pick. So,
Wah, wah,
wah, yeah. No, he's certainly no Nick Wilson. I mean,
no.
But and the whole, I mean, yeah, he can still come back and he can still win the game. It doesn't mean anything yet, but
Yeah, but people that come back are more of a target than anything.
Probably.
Nick played under the radar last year, so that's why he won.
For sure. And everything in my mind was saying it's going to be a girl, and it might be a returning player, but it's definitely going to be a female winner. Mm-hmm. And I went with a guy, so that's my own fault. But again, nothing's set in stone. The one thing about this season is nobody is really out of the game until they raise the mast. So I don't see Eric doing that anytime soon.
No.
So let's go ahead and talk about what we always talk about here: the 3 big moments, 3 key moments, and then the top 3 bottom 3 of the week. Let's let you start off this week with this week's top 3 moments. What is big moment number 3?
Big moment. Drunk bromance?
The drunk bromance, yes. As was talked about earlier with the bromance between David and Devins. Mm-hmm. David said, I think one of us is drunk. I'm not sure which one it is.
Right.
And, this was kind of the sign of a bromance starting to split apart. Yeah. One of those tight alliances just really kind of started to slide this week. And we've seen it happen. We've seen, other bromances, other, tight, alliances split up. But this was definitely a tight pair, and, they didn't seem to fit this week. They definitely voted opposite. So, we'll see they do more going forward. But for now, definitely started to slip. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, was David in on Devins getting voted out? Because, no. Okay.
Originally, no.
Right. He didn't vote for him.
No.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely see. Obviously, they're splitting up. They don't really seem to be working well together anymore. Devins feels slighted from Lezu, and David's more willing to work with them. So, Devins definitely going into an opposite direction.
And we'll talk about it later with Devins, but I feel like it's one of those things where you gotta keep your options open. Even if they screwed you over, you can sleep with one eye open.
Pretend to be okay with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The answer is always yes, like I said, and always sleep with one eye open if you have to. Don't fully trust them ever again, but you've got to pretend.
Right.
You've got to play the game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's really all I had to say about that. Anything else to add?
No, I think you're good.
Cool. What's big moment number 2?
Ron says he's in control.
The famous last words. I'm running this game. I'm in control.
Yeah, I definitely thought he was getting kicked off tonight just because of how he said that in the beginning of the show.
And editors love when you say that. I mean, the producer sitting there talking to you in the confessional love when you say that. Oh, I'm in control. I'm running the show. Because as soon as you say that, they use that clip when you get blindsided. They're gonna use that clip. And Ron got blindsided. He didn't get voted out.
But he definitely got blindsided, for sure.
For sure. And So that was, you just never say that in Survivor. You never do. I remember I was listening to an interview with Laurel recently, and she talked about how she um, was okay in confessionals. She got a lot of confessionals,
Yeah.
but she never really had that one big confessional because she knew that the more she said to the producers, the more of an idiot she was look like when she got blindsided.
Yeah.
And so she kind of tried to keep herself, play coy with the producer a little bit, kind of not give away too much confessional because it's if you say, you know, I remember Andrew Belke said one too. I feel like I'm in control. I know something you never say in this game.
So they don't say it there either.
Right. And so even if you say, they could, the producer could be like, you could say, oh, I'm never gonna say I'm in control of this game, and they cut out the I'm never gonna say and just say use the I'm in control of this game part.
Right.
So
right. But I mean, even with Laurel though, she did have the confessional where her and Donathan, had the deciding votes. They could have gotten rid of one or Dom, but she did. She didn't even go through the blind side. So I mean, she did kind of say that she had some sort of power, but she didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, and so it's in it. Yeah, I just feel like it's seen the show, and you've started to see it too. You've been picked up on the fact that when people are saying I'm in control, I'm in control, I'm in control, it almost never goes that way. Even like you said, when the vote happened, and we didn't even mention this. I'll mention it at some point, but with the whole near medical situation, that was a confessional right after the challenge. Like I said, usually the confessional right after the challenge doesn't equal anything.
Right.
There's so many. The producers and editors take so many things that happen and just throw them in there. It was. But hearing Ron say that, I'm like, well, he's probably going home. And also, side note too, Aurora had a bit of a Angela Perkins episode where she just kind of came out of nowhere and started getting all these confessionals, started being a part of the show for which Angela was when she ate the sea slugs and had the gross food challenge.
True.
She came out of nowhere, and that episode too, like Angela's going home. She just came out of her shell and it's finally on the show, which means she's going to get voted out. I felt the same thing about Aurora. I felt, well, she's actually on the show now. We're actually seeing her, which means she's probably going home. So I felt like that was kind of where the edit was taking it.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Obviously, she wanted immunity, so.
I could see that comparison, though. I think, Angela and Aurora definitely remind me of each other. They're very similar.
I agree. And, like I said, just leave the edit the way the edit is. I feel like Ron, saying those things was just asking for a blindside to come his way, and it kind of did. What's big moment number 3?
Don't bite the apple.
James Clement on season 15, right? He had the 2 idols. It came back and Ghost Island, the one at least, and he had 2 idols. He had 3 weeks left to play those 2 idols, and he was talking about his whole mantra, really that whole merge, from the merge on. James was likable. James was probably gonna get the end. If he got the end, he was probably gonna win. He was kind of running the show. Behind the scenes, there was Amanda and Todd, but he was on the show. He was the one who was like, "Hey, this is my show. I'm gonna blah blah," but he was always like, "Hey, let's stick strong, stick strong, stick strong, stick together. Don't bite the apple. Don't bite the apple. Just right. Don't eat from the
forbidden fruit.
Forbidden fruit, exactly. Just don't bite the apple." And Amanda said, confessional. Not only am I ready to eat the apple, I'm ready to bake the whole pie. And then but James was a person who knew if he got the end, he's probably gonna win.
So James is Ron. Ron keeps saying, "Stick to the plan, stick to the plan." Family visit, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan.
And using the family visit as a manipulative tool, right? And like David said, personally, I know if I want a Survivor, and I got voted out before the family visit, didn't get to see my loved one because I made a move to try to win the game.
Looks better on you to do that.
They'd rather my family member would forgive me.
Right. For
missing the family visit.
Right.
Instead of me just being, I'm going to get to the family visit, and then after the family visit, I'm done to rights. I'm going to lose.
Technically, for the family visit, though, you get what? A hug from them. You get to see them initially, and then there's no guarantee you're going to get to hang out with your family member. Only, 4 or 5 people get to do it?
Right.
So it doesn't guarantee you're going to see them for a minute.
And I think it's worse to do that. I'd rather them not get flown out or get flown and not get to see me than come out, fly out and see me for 10 minutes.
Right.
that just
Hug, talk for a second, see me do the challenge, and then
see me lose.
realize that you're not gonna get to hang out with me. Yeah,
Yeah,
worse.
I'd rather get brought up before that and present me to move. I've always said I'd rather not get the end and lose.
Yeah,
I'd rather go out fourth, fifth, or sixth. Fourth place, fifth place, sixth place, then get the end and lose. But like I said, James, his whole mantra was don't eat the apple, don't eat the apple, and they eventually did, and he got voted out. And I feel like Eric and Ron were the same way.
yeah, they were. I think Ron more so than Eric, but Ron because he would openly admit in confessionals that he's in control. Not that he says it to anybody else, but he had that attitude that he definitely controlled a lot of it, influenced a lot of it.
So my question to you is why do you think Eric got clipped over Ron then?
I'm not sure. Probably because Eric's stronger. He's better to, challenges. They're afraid he's going to win immunity at some point, anyways.
I think he's more likable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he's just the bigger threat. I mean, Ron is definitely Ron and Eric were kind of on the game together. Ron a little more openly and not as likable. I think Eric's a little more likable. That's why they decided to go with him.
Yeah, I mean Ron doesn't really excel at challenges or anything either. So, you can pick him off probably later. Eric could win immunity and help influence everything a lot more. So
I think so, and I think that's what that was a thing that I was really looking at is when you're the Wendell or Dominic, you want everybody to stick to the plan.
Right.
When you're the James Clement, you want everybody to stick to the plan.
Right.
Sometimes it works out. Sometimes in the case of Wendell, you just tell her, hey, let's just get through one more vote. Hey, let's just get and it was kind of how Victoria was this week. Like, I don't know if it's might be too early to make a move. Might be too early. Maybe it was.
I mean, I was pretty surprised she actually did flip.
Yeah.
I didn't think she would.
And I guess it got to the point where everybody else did, so she kind of had to go along with it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it may have been too early. And I've always said I'd rather make a move too early than not make a move at all, or make a move too late.
Yeah, but if they waited too long, then you got the comma 6. You're picking off everybody else. Who are you going to form an alliance with to flip on everybody else?
Right.
When everybody wants to stick together.
Exactly. Now, if granted, if that 7 or 6 was that tight, and they wanted to take out Ron and Eric, they probably could have got the 4 to take out the 6. But Julie wasn't necessarily in on it either, so it might be a 3-3 tie at that point.
Yeah.
And they're trying to bring in, somebody's fighting for Devins and Dave, and now you're out of the numbers.
I mean, they wanted to split the vote anyways in case Kelly or Lauren had idols, and if they did, it was still going to be somebody else anyways, whoever they chose for the other 5.
Correct, and Julie and Eric and Ron and Devins did split the vote.
They did, yeah.
And everybody else voted for them.
Right.
So
but Victoria, Gavin, and Julia should have voted the other way also and split the vote more.
Correct. That's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what the plan was, and Aurora and all that. But it wasn't. They didn't do it that way.
Right.
And they think they made the right move. I think they made the at this point maybe it's too early, but the thing is you can't make one move. You have to make multiple moves.
Yeah.
And if they make multiple moves, and you kind of can navigate from here, I think that's the right thing. But the thing I wanted to bring up here, of course, like I said, was the James Clement idea of, if you're the person in control, you don't want anything shaken up. And in this case, that was what Eric and and Ron were talking about. Hey, stick to the plan, stick to the plan. Of course, they want you to do that because they're going to win if you do that.
Right.
They want you to make a move that's not smart for them. It's not smart for you. And obviously that was what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And it sometimes works out that way, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, the other players got wise to it and like, you know what? Why they say next? They want us to take them to the end so they can win.
Yep.
And they made the move. So cool. It was a good episode though. It was very exciting. For sure. Yeah. Since we don't have anywhere else, I just want to mention here the whole medical issue with Lauren. How do you feel about that?
Well, that actually kind of goes along with the next thing.
Okay,
One of the key
moment
moments.
number 1.
Aurora wins immunity. So while Lauren is passed out on the ground, Aurora is trying to convince Victoria to throw the challenge so that she can win individual immunity. While Julie in the sidelines was saying, Lauren's over there passed out, not awake, and Aurora's doing this right now. I mean, it was crazy that she passed out, but I'm not really surprised. She's been weak. She hasn't eaten anything. I mean, it's kind of led up to it with how sick she's been lately and stuff, too. Not eating, throwing up. But, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And she had a confessional earlier in the episode, too, about that. How she was And this is of course key moment number one about Aurora winning the immunity. But yeah, and it was came out of Victoria, and Aurora was like, throw the challenge, because if you throw the challenge, give it to me,
Yeah,
then
so
I know you're with me.
Right, but even if she did, I mean, Victoria didn't throw the challenge,
No.
she lost, but Aurora wasn't going to work with them either way, trying to convince them so that she can trust them. She's never going to trust them.
No.
She might vote along with them to keep herself, but, either way.
She's looking to flip when she gets the chance.
Well, right. And Victoria definitely wasn't going to throw the challenge. There was no, budge at all for that. But, I guess if you're going to try and negotiate to win over an alliance, I guess you do it then.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to throw out there. Yeah, that used to be a big thing back in early days of Survivor.
Yeah.
10 and earlier.
I guess you don't do it while someone's passed out, though, and they're not awake or anything like that.
Yeah,
It's poor timing, I guess.
I guess, but at the same time, it's like I feel like if you're gonna wait for her to get up, who knows when she's gonna get up? You might lose your shot to negotiate.
True.
So you gotta just kind of do it.
It's true.
And
I mean, it didn't bother me.
no, I didn't bother me either. Not at all. Lauren felt bad about passing out, but who else passed out during a challenge and then almost had to get medical evacuated?
You said Joe.
Joe Anglim, yeah. At 31. He was in a crazy immunity streak, and it was a challenge where they had to put a tiki on top of a platform, and then every so often they add more sections of the pole. So it was like 35 feet in the air. It was a tiki, and the wind was blowing it, and it was him against Keith. The only two left, Keith now, and they're both looking up in the sun at this tiki, and the wind's blowing it, and Joe just passed out and dropped the tiki, fell. And they had to call medical. Keith wins immunity. Like, oh crap, I want immunity, but this guy's over here almost dying, and so that was interesting too. And so Lauren, you're in good company. Joe did that too, and so
right. It doesn't mean it doesn't show a weak person. You're just in a lot of turmoil for your body.
Yeah.
You don't eat. We're not sleeping. It's a lot of strain.
Yeah, I mean, happens. A lot of people have Natasha that same season, so. She was a good challenge competitor too. So it's one of those things where you're pushing your body way beyond its limits, and some people's bodies can take it more than others. It doesn't mean they're stronger or weaker. It's just biology. So what's next? Let's key moment number 2.
Devin blows up on Mordog.
Yeah,
blows up on Mordog.
Yeah.
He is not effing working with them after they voted him out. I mean, you don't blame him, but the smarter thing to do is just to play along with it. You always tell people what they want to hear on Survivor, no matter what. You say it all the time. You just say yes. Agree with everything. Doesn't mean you're going to do what they say. You can just agree with them. They don't need to know what you're going to do.
It was odd. It was a cool scene too when they were talking, right? And Mordog's like, he talked to him and he's like, "Yeah, I'm excited to work with you guys now. I know I can trust you." I'm like, that doesn't seem like, I don't buy that. Like, why would? I don't think Rick really buys it either. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, what War Dog said didn't make any sense either. Like, stop acting arrogant. You're not really running the game.
No.
I mean, Ron's running the game. War Dog was when it was just the Lezu tribe that lost all the time. But, he just wants to feel like he's still in control, and he's not.
For sure. And for me, I saw Devin was like, yeah, it just, to me, it felt fake. It felt forced. But I'm like, all right, well, if War Dog buys it, then War Dog buys it. But I don't buy it that that Devin's actually willing to work with him. And then he says, yeah, now I know I can trust you. I look forward to work with you. Except I'm not effing working with you.
Right.
And I was like, whoa.
Right.
All right. Well, he didn't hold back on that. He kind of just went for it. And good for him, I guess. Not holding back. I don't know. I obviously don't think it was a good move. I think just saying yes and going along with it is the right move. But
I mean, that basically hurt his alliance with David just because of that situation.
Would you think he was Devin was acting emotionally?
Yeah. Obviously. I mean, you're offended because your tribe got rid of you, but it's part of the game. So everybody that keeps saying, it's part of the game, it is. You're lucky you got back on.
Sure.
He wasn't, not every episode, obviously, and we're not every season has that opportunity. You had that opportunity and you won it, so.
And like I said, I've been very pro Devins this whole season. That being said, when he came out of the final 5, there was only 5 people left in that tribe. And he was voting for Lauren or Wentworth. Wentworth or Lauren were going to vote for him, and War Dog was a swing vote. So I can see not trusting War Dog. I can see, but it's like, what do you want? They voted for Lauren. Should Lauren vote for herself? Of course, she's gonna vote for somebody else.
Obviously.
You know, so I get that he feels betrayed, but it's not. I mean, and granted, they did vote for him last week, so I understand that. That's maybe the issue.
That's probably what is more leading up to it. Not like he got voted off initially, but they wanted to re-vote him out right away. You know, they could have banded together and tried to go after somebody else instead of them going after him again. That would have been a smarter move on their part. Then they would have won over another alliance.
Yeah, and so it's the thing of the Lezu. You've said it before. They don't work well together. They have never trusted each other since day one. So for them to vote together here doesn't make any sense.
No, they don't work well together. They're not going to. I don't see that happening, but they're going to try and do as much as they can to keep each other there for now. But I still always say they're at the mercy of everybody else. Up until now. That is, up until now.
And if they didn't move, I still feel like, we'll get to it, but I still feel like the members who flipped this week are still in control. As long as, but now that the game's been shaken up a little bit, it really can go any different way. We'll kind of talk about that going forward here a little bit, but let's talk about the key moment number three.
Julia flips the vote.
She does, yeah. And so.
It was with help War Dog. War Dog approaches Julia, Gavin, and Victoria, was it? And tells them, you guys are all together, but once you get to the end, who you think's going to win? It's not going to be you. So that really got a bug in Julia's ear to do something about it. And she approached Eric to test him. Eric failed that test miserably. Didn't even give a thought about bending to vote for anybody else. And... she approached Gavin and Victoria. Gavin was more for it. Victoria didn't want to blow it up, but somehow, I forgot what was exactly said in the tribal council, but they just talked about how, you got the 6 against the 5, and
you keep picking up the 5.
Right, you keep picking them up. Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of helped to sway everybody else just to flip their votes and to go after somebody else.
Right, and I think at the point where, I think Victoria, she's had good moments and bad moments this season, but I think she's smart enough to realize that if there's 4 people voting one way and 8 voting another way, I better be with the 8.
I was actually kind of surprised that she didn't want to, that she was more hesitant, just because... What was it, last episode or the one before? She's like, I'm not going to rocks for anybody. That doesn't work for me. That's not good for my game. So for her to say no, that's not really good for your game either. You're just going along with the herd, and the sheep are going to get picked up by the wolves. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right that she did. It was in her best interest to make a move. Granted, maybe waiting a couple weeks was the right move. Who knows?
Maybe,
but. You gotta eventually make a move. You have to. And
I think it was better now because the rest of the season's going to be completely different. Before it was more obvious, who's going to work together, who's not going to work together. So it's who are they going to pick off next.
And I agree. I think, and as the great Ethan Zahn once said, the winner of season 3, he said it's always better to be the assistant coach than the head coach. Because the head coach is the one who makes the decisions, and people get mad at the head coach. And who they go to? They go to the assistant coach. Right. And says, "Why is Coach being so mean to me?" Oh, well, here's why. Right. And it's like like being the manager of the company or the assistant manager of the company. The assistant manager is kind of the manager of the people, right? The people who are working there, they go to the assistant manager. The assistant manager is the bridge between management and people. I kind of feel like that's kind of how Victoria can now take that role of the assistant, right? She's like, Julia made this move, and Julia, and I agree with her. I voted with her because Julia said we should do this. And she can throw Julia on the bus, and if numbers stick in Julia's favor, she's still riding along with Julia. If people are pissed off at Julia, guess what? She's like, I don't like Julia either.
But the smarter way though for them is to put it all on War Dog. War Dog's the one that started it. He's the one that brought it up about getting rid of somebody else. Did he even mention Eric Ron directly? I don't exactly remember now.
I don't remember.
But he is the one that put the bug out there. So I think that would be the smarter move to flip it on him. Where War Dog approached us and he's kind of right. So maybe everybody will band together, get rid of him next. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be. And I feel like it's not, they're not going to buy that as much because War Dog was in power, so they had to give him power to make him do that.
Yeah. He
But
was in power in their individual tribes, but
yes,
yeah, I know. So collectively, not so much.
right. So I don't know. I feel like though I think really right now Gavin and Victoria, if they play their cards right, can be in a really good spot because they're like
Right.
they can be like if people like piss off at Julia, they're like it's like the season 33 Sunday and Lucy and Jessica. They turn on they had a strong six on the Gen X tribe. They vote out one of the members of their 6 and the other two guys are mad. Chris and Brett were mad, and they're like, "Well, why did you guys flip on Paul? What's wrong with you guys?" And Sunday and Lucy said, "Oh, Jessica, she did it," and so everybody was mad at Jessica. And so as opposed to, if the guys were like, "Well, screw you, all three of you aren't working with any of you," then guess what? The three stick together and they vote those guys out.
Yeah.
But and that's of course David's first season, so he might know a little bit about that. But I think it's they're in the spot now where they're in the, if people are coming up, or if the numbers are shifting where they're coming for somebody on the alliance, well then those two be like, oh, Julia manipulated us, we didn't even want to do it, and they can throw her under the bus. Or if Julia stays in control, they can ride along with her, and be like, yeah, for sure, we're with you all the way, and then actually flip on her and get rid of her, but. Because obviously
she's winning. I mean, she's my winner pick, so she's winning.
There you go.
Just saying.
So
proud of you, Julia, for this one.
It was and we'll get. I think we'll get more to that in a little bit as well. But the good thing is I think they rode along with the numbers, and if they continue to do so, I think they have a good path to the end. Now again, I could see if it's now let's say those three go to the end, Julia's winning.
Yeah.
So now it's the thing. Okay. Victoria and Gavin made their move. Now what?
Yeah, I mean, this looks good on Julia's jury resume, though.
Absolutely,
so.
More than anybody else. Yeah, granted, it's there. So it's like I said. There's been winners in the past who've made the move, and then they've kind of slid back on the radar. And things like that. Every move you make is on your resume to a point. If you're the person whose move it is, this is Julia's move. And so it's more on her resume than anybody else's. But, if Julia was gone, now Victoria and Gavin can say, look, I was on this move, I was on this move, I was on this move. And so they don't have to be out in front so to take the move. But, again, getting to the end with something on your resume is important. And if you get to the end with something with a bigger resume than you're going to lose.
Yeah. I don't know, in my head I'm singing every move you make, every breath you take, I'll be watching you.
Yeah, on Survivor, absolutely. For sure. Please. There you go. There are police officers on this. There's an attorney. I'm almost saying police officers on this season.
Military. No police this year.
Okay. Moving on from Sting to the bottom three players of the season. No, this is a good transition from Sting to lower quality player.
Sting's a little bit, right?
Or just say lower quality individual player. Anyways, so the bottom three. Who's the first one on the bottom three?
Julie,
yeah. Why is Julie here? Just because she voted the way she voted, I think.
Okay. I couldn't really remember. I decided no. Yeah. I mean, she's on the opposite side. She's not on the good spectrum, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, 4 people voted for... Four people in essence voted the wrong way. Right? It was, and the vote was 8 to 4, right? 8 for Eric, 4 for the other two. Right. So of those 4, Eric's gone, Ron, and Devins. And Julie.
Yeah.
So Julie is one of the 3 that voted the wrong way. So who's still in the game. So that's why she's here. I don't think she did anything miserable. She was the top player of the week last week. I think she's kind of in the spot where I don't think she wasn't the target because Ron and Eric were, and Devins was out and being loud and obnoxious. Julie wasn't even on the show. This week.
Yeah, no. So but I mean, last week they showed how strong she was. Yeah. And individual immunity.
And she did well this week too in that challenge. She went pretty far.
Yeah.
I think she's at the point where she could, if it again, whichever way the numbers are going, she can jump on and be okay. She can be like, oh, Julia, why? And Gavin, I thought we were close. Why didn't you tell me about this vote? I was glad they voted out Eric. I didn't like him anyways.
Right.
Well,
and hopefully that's how she feels about it and just goes along with it.
And doesn't pull a Devins.
Right.
And by the way, Who's bottom player number 2? Speaking of which,
Devins.
Rick Devins. Why?
Don't flip out on people. Just pretend. That's all what Survivor's about. Pretending, going along, saying yes. Should have did that.
Go along, Devins. You know, and I liked him.
Don't break your strong bonds with other people, because now you and David are gone. So, who's watching your back?
Right, and they've got half the idol each. You know, so that's a big mess.
Yeah.
You know, it's a splitting baby.
It's just like a divorce.
Yeah.
Why are you guys doing a divorce?
I get half your stuff. Devins. David.
No, you don't.
Oh, but they do.
Yeah.
And so I mean that's Rick. You know, he has to do a better job of that. I really liked him most of the season. I'm glad he's back in the game. He's definitely entertaining, and he was entertaining at Tribal Council as well today.
Yeah, you could really feel the tension though between him and David.
Yeah.
There was a comment. David said anything to get a laugh, and then.
Oh, the challenge.
Yeah, Devin said, "Well, yeah, anything to get a laugh." It's like the joke, anything for a joke or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it didn't really sound like the best interaction between the two of them.
It's not like two guys who were about to fight, trying to make a joke before they fought.
Right.
It kind of seemed like it was just very awkward. The joke itself, I thought was hilarious. I thought,
yeah.
you know, he's like, four of the strong, most fit people out of the game. Devin Swallow goes 5.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that was hilarious. And
yeah,
then,
for sure.
And David goes, "Man, Devin, hope we didn't do it just as a joke."
That's it. Yeah.
Anything for the joke.
That's it. Yeah.
But it was like it kind of felt like they weren't really laughing.
Yeah,
they were
anything
kind of,
for a joke, right?
It was it was kind of like they were texting each other. But like, are you really mad, or did you say LOL?
Right. Did you really LOL, or are you just saying it because that's what seems appropriate right now?
Right. That's what I felt like. So I don't know. It was an odd week for Devins. We'll see. You know, he's definitely not out of it, but he can't play emotionally. And David was saying that it's like man, you gotta put your emotions aside. You can't make emotional decisions. People are gonna screw you over at Survivor.
Right.
You know, you don't trust them again, but you gotta pretend to.
Right. For sure.
And anything else to add about Devins?
No, I agree with all of that. We covered a lot of it with him and his emotional reactions.
His outbursts and slipping out, yeah. And granted, you know, if I was with War Dog on the island for that long, I'd want to let him too.
Yeah, probably. You just probably walk away instead of flipping out on him.
Smart.
Yeah.
Bottom player number 1 is
Mr. Ronald Clark Weasley.
Griswold.
Yeah, I know.
Weasley. Let's not go down that rabbit hole again. Why is Ron here?
Because he was totally blindsided by half of his tribe, half of his alliance that he thought he had. So now next week's going to be really interesting when you see them going back to the camp and him talking to everybody and seeing what the heck happened. Because he is probably feeling like his power slipped away a little bit. And he should definitely be worried.
He should be. And it was interesting, they said that the previews they showed travel, the jury, and it seems like it's going to be a lit travel next week too. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it's going to be pretty intense.
Jeff said that's the first time this ever happened, so I hate when they show that kind of preview.
Yeah.
Then you really want to watch it right away.
Right. Well, if you're on a binge, it'd be good, but obviously it's wait a week. But the jury looked like they were pretty, loving it too. So, and did they show? Eric was there, right?
Jury?
Yes, because obviously, I mean, no spoiler. Obviously, he doesn't leave.
Oh, well, no, they already showed him taking the torch.
Right, but obviously, in the meantime, he doesn't. In the 3 days,
he's not gonna.
I didn't think he would, but and it wasn't even any drama or suspense with him going to Edge of Extinction.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know. Ron on the bottom 3 for me, just again because he was all in control. He was blindsided. He's still in the game, but he's definitely blindsided, and he's blindsided for being the Godfather. You can't. And I think Eric made a bad move too, like you said, when Julie comes with, what do you want doing Devins? Like, well, we'll wait on that. And again, maybe that's not
stick to the plan.
Right. Maybe that wasn't the conversation that they had. I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but again, if I'm Eric in that situation, instead of shutting it, I actually didn't think about that. That's interesting. Let's talk. Let's explore that further.
Exactly.
Oh, or hey, why don't we bring Ron in? Why don't we bring in Victoria?
Yeah, let's talk about it and see how that works for everybody in the alliance.
Right.
But it was none of that. It's just let's just stick to the plan.
Yeah, and the plan is, again, the status quo works with people who are in control. When you shake up the status quo, that's what happens, right? And so that's why Julia is like, well, I'm not in control of the game, so why would I stick with the status quo and people who are in control win? So that was bad, and I think Ron was the same way. I think just kind of shutting it down. Hey, this is what we're doing. Stick to the plan. You have an idea. Cool. Shut up. That's what we're doing.
Right.
And I think that's a big reason why it fell apart the way it did.
Right. It's true.
So that's why Ron's at the bottom for me.
Notice who was not on our bottom this week?
War Dog and Wentworth.
Yeah. Congratulations, guys. Other people did much worse than you did.
Yeah. And listen, the game was a little bit, and now it's open. Now it's a little,
it's good to see something break through instead of the same old thing every week, just waiting to see who gets picked off.
Blowing up a little bit now. It's a little bit, back out there. It's interesting now because Devins is back in the game.
Yep.
Joe and and all them. There's Reem and Aubrey on Edge of Nation.
Joe, Reem, Aubrey, Chris, and now Eric.
And Joe and Eric, with Chris. And Devins was already voted out, so if Devins was out of the game, there'd be like only a couple guys left in the whole game.
Yeah, I mean,
David,
War Dog,
and Ron, right?
And Gavin.
I forgot him. He's the professional. He's not on the show.
Yeah.
But they said if Devin's getting back in, it'd be it'd be 7-4, for the girls.
The girls would be forced to work with each other.
Yeah, and they I think at this point, they'd be smart too.
For the most part, they do. I think especially after all this happening, Victoria and Julia are going to probably try and work together, probably bring in Julie. And then the deciding thing still is, do you keep... Oh, we forgot David, too. We didn't mention David.
Yeah, David. True.
But, do you keep Kelly around, or do you get rid of her because she's a returning player? That hasn't been the topic of the couple episodes. Yeah, they've kind of ignored that part. So now they're actually playing the game instead of concentrating on just that.
It's easy to vote them out early, but now they have to make moves. And like I said, I think if the girls stick together, you bring in Lauren, you bring in Aurora, bring in Wentworth, and then you can you're kind of in the same spot you were in before but now it's Wentworth went from being and Lauren went from being next two out to now getting the final six and losing.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So there's still so maybe they're more for that though, right? I feel like if you're a smart player in Survivor, you take the people who are on the bottom and promise them a little bit further than they were before. You never think the end.
You want to bring people that you can beat to the end. You don't want to bring people who can beat you to the end.
Right. And
Laurel did.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And the idea too, I think, is you bring people with you to the end, and you have people who are on the bottom. You want them to flip with you, make a move with you. Well, what do? You promise them a further spot than what they have now.
Right.
Again, you get rid of them before they get to the end. But it's like if you're talking to Wentworth, you're 12th place right now. Don't be your 6th.
Right.
She still throw out 6th. Who cares?
You get further along.
But she gets further. She feels better about that because at least now she has a shot.
Right.
As opposed to being next.
Right.
And you still, and then it's important though, I think, for alliance management too, and picking out people. But that's why I think we got Ron there. Let's move on to the top 3.
Top 3.
Number 3.
War Dog.
Whoa!
Man, you climbed yourself up to the top 3 this week.
Why War Dog?
Because he started the whole wheels turning to have them actually turn on their alliance for the common strong and common 6th. And it worked. And he got Julia convinced that, it's eat or be eaten. You gotta get rid of somebody that's gonna be doing better than you, who's controlling the game, who are you going along with every week. I personally think it would have been a better choice for Ron, because he's more in control. But like you said, Eric's more likable. Eric is definitely stronger. He's more of a threat for challenges. So, that was probably the smarter pick. But
I would rather see Ron go.
What's that?
I would rather see Ron go
right.
too.
For various reasons. You're a winner pick, yeah.
Fabulous reasons. Other than that too, yes, but yes.
But War Dog planted the seed and Julia took it, and I guess good for you.
War Dog sucked in the challenge this week. Again, both of them actually.
We don't even have to mention that anymore. It's
just
just like a going forward thing. Yeah.
But he's a thinker. He's a smarter guy than he gets credit for.
He is going to school to be a lawyer. I would figure Aurora would use that lure skills a little more, but he definitely is using his convincing skills for people.
For sure. And he's definitely thinking, always running numbers, always trying to come up with plans.
Yep.
I kind of thought he's got no tact or grace. Well, he's just kind of trying to bull in the china shop with it.
Definitely not good at making connections with people.
Right, not at all. But if the numbers make sense to go with, then they'll just go with them. I don't see War Dog winning because he just doesn't have the social grace to do it.
Yeah, I feel like it's another one where they think he's running. They're making him believe that he's running the game more so than he probably actually is.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's why he's there just because again he did convince people to flip the game, and I don't think long term I don't think it's necessarily going to benefit him a whole heck of a lot. I don't think anybody's really targeting him because he's not really much of a threat.
No.
I mean, but good for him. He made a move, and now the game got flipped outside a little bit.
Yeah.
Who's number 2?
Aurora.
Aurora. Why Aurora?
I mean, she won immunity. She did great. Second woman to win immunity right now, individual immunity. And she's also kind of breaking out. She broke out first before anybody else. She didn't buy into the Comma 6 at all. They got rid of Joe, didn't tell her. So, I think she reached out to other people first, and it's a better move. She's making more alliances than just the 6 strong.
She can't go anywhere, and that's good. She's kind of on the bottom anywhere she goes, but at least,
She is, but she's surviving. She even admitted that herself, though, that she, could be the next one to go, but she's not going to she's just going to go along with what people say to protect herself.
Agreed, and I think if you do that long enough, you can at some point get down to the final 8, 9. At that point, you can kind of form your own coalition, and nobody's at the bottom because you just formed your own coalition.
Yeah.
So go along for a while when immunity helps, and also one thing with throwing there that she did get the extra vote, and she still has it from Aubrey.
About that, yeah.
So
I mean, it was a smart one from Aubrey.
Agreed.
I kind of couldn't think of it, to begin with, but Aurora was the only one willing to work with Aubrey and Joe and not target them because they're returning players. She didn't care about that.
And with Aubrey and Joe out of the game, who's the one left? So
right.
I think that was the right move to give it to her. I would kind of rather see it in the hands of a player who is a little bit better at the game.
Control, yeah.
Yeah, or at least someone's on the bottom who is desperate enough. And granted, and I will give credit to Lauren Wentworth for both not playing the idols and having them in another week. And also, Aurora didn't play hers, so she has hers another week. And as the numbers get smaller, the items you have get more powerful in the smaller numbers. So good for all of them.
More
and
valuable.
Good for Aurora for winning immunity and for having that extra vote.
Yeah.
And finally, who's the player of the week this week?
My winner pick, Julia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she got some people to change their votes. But like I keep saying, she planted the seed. Other people bought into it. It took some convincing for others, but they flipped, and it shows that they're not going to just keep going along with the same votes. Because, like I said, eat or be eaten. If they don't get rid of other people, they're just going to get picked off eventually too. So I think that was good. It brought a lot to her game, and I hope she keeps going with the good alliances, good tricks.
Yeah, she's done well. She's your winner pick. I think she's doing a very good job. There's a handful of people I can see really winning. The thing I have right now is, was it her? Was it Gavin? Was it Victoria? Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying it was Julia's move. Why? Because she's only see.
Yeah.
Gavin's on the show, and Victoria is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, War Dog did approach all of them, but she's the one that took the initiative to go to Eric and test the waters. Is he really willing to work with me, or is he just carrying me along? And obviously, he just wanted to go along with, Kama Strong because he's on the top of that alliance. It's him and Ron all the way. Everybody else, it's who knows.
Right.
They're not safe. So she had extra discussions with Victoria and with Gavin, and, to show that she was also willing to flip. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to flip by themselves, you know. So you need other people to go with you.
Yep. I feel like Julia is like a player that Jeff Probst would just love. She's got a lot of things that he looks for, but also she plays the game. She so many times I think that's what they wanted out of the world.
Yeah.
They wanted her to be the person who
right
flips the game and and breaks up the status quo.
I mean, if she would have made it move like this last season, it would have been obviously a different game for
Yeah,
her.
for sure. In 36, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, I agree. And I think Julia, though, I think, Victoria's kind of all over the place. We've seen her do good things and bad things.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really seen much of Gavin at all. And Julia
Not
is
really.
out front making this move. It's Julia's move.
Yeah.
And convinced me otherwise, but it's Julia's move.
No, I agree.
And this it was the biggest move of the week, biggest move of the game so far,
Mm-hmm.
and she gets credit for it. So she's the play of the week.
Yay.
Can't argue that at all. So, tell me I'm wrong, but come at me in the comments.
You're never wrong.
You're the one who's winning picks on the game, okay? I think biggest move of the game so far, and she gets the credit and deserves it. So, she's the play of the week.
Sure.
So other than that, let's go on. I think it was a good perfect time to wrap up.
I think so.
Look at next week, and we'll see how things go. I'm excited for another really exciting episode. I think it's gonna be really great. We'll see who gets voted out next week. We'll keep our eyes up for next couple weeks for guests and everything like that. But for now, what's your Twitter handle?
Just T820.
You can comment and send her tweets, and send me tweets. Email the show, pavementroadproduction@gmail.com, and comment away in the comments below. Subscribe. Tweet me at YoGrabAGabba. What's your Twitter handle?
Just T820.
Tweet her as well. And
Might
Facebook.
have an Instagram page coming up too.
There you go. Perfect. Facebook.com/PavementRoadProductions for all that great stuff. And again, as the Survivor season wraps up, we've got about a month and a half left. We're looking to do some other things. I'd say maybe some sports stuff like you had on there.
Go Yankees. Oh, brown shoulder opposite.
Yeah.
Go Yankees.
Okay, great. Whatever.
Boo, Red Sox.
Hey, it's we'll save it for another podcast, another vlog. But something to look forward to. We have a summer of fun ahead of us. We can definitely help us more stuff. Amazing race in the summer as well. So a lot of cool stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff that we'll keep the content coming. You guys keep watching, keep subscribing, keep commenting, keep doing all those things. We'll keep the content coming for you. So, but for right now though, after all that, I feel like I've got nothing else for you because the tribe has spoken. Good night.
Bye.